The year is 2023, Justin Verlander's 18th in the major leagues, and he's off to an impressive, if not somewhat diminished start relative to his Cy Young winning campaign the previous season. As with the Mets, in 16 starts, JV has posted a 3.15 ERA with an impressive 1.33 ERA+. Then, after getting moved back to the Astros, he proceeds to post pretty much identical numbers, ending the year with an impressive 3.22 ERA and 144 strikeouts in 162 1/3 innings. He seems well on his way to achieving one of his long-held career goals, getting to 300 career wins. Sure, it wasn't going to be easy, but if this guy can manage to post numbers like that in his age 40 season, who's going to tell him he couldn't? Flash forward to just after the All-Star break in 2025, and Verlander is in a completely different place, with it, unfortunately, not being a positive one. Since the start of 2024, he's managed to only make 33 starts due to a litany of injuries, and in that roughly a season's worth of performance, he has been, quite simply, one of the worst starters in the game. Among guys in that time frame who threw at least 160 innings, he's tied for the worst ERA plus at 75, as well as being the second worst in both ERA at 5.25 and hits per 9 allowed at 10.1. Add in a career low strikeout rate of 7.5 and one of his worst walk rates ever at 2.9, and you get essentially abysmal numbers across the board. So, what's changed for Verlander since 2023? First of all, one thing we absolutely have to get out of the way now is the idea that his raw velocity is worse. It's really not, with only a marginal decline across the board in his pitch mix. I'm talking about not even half a mile an hour. What's more, his whiff percentages on all of his pitches are actually up marginally relative to that season. And it's not like he's really getting hit all that much harder either. His average exit velocity allowed is actually down, and his barrels per plate appearance aren't up by a crazy margin. So if none of that is causing this decline, what is? I believe it's predominantly these two numbers, being launch angle sweet spot percentage and strikeout percent. JV has always been a power pitcher, and in that mold, if these numbers aren't elite, you're going to get hit really hard. But that doesn't answer the question, what's affecting them? I believe they're both being largely hurt by the same thing, his overall movement profile on his pitches, which just isn't as sharp as it used to be. Look at this chart. See how in 2023 the vertical drop on all of his pitches are significantly better than in both 2024 and the absolute bottoming out we see in 2025? His horizontal, meanwhile, remains largely unaffected. Now, this is a very important development for him because he's always been a guy who relied very much on getting enough vertical drop on his breaking pitches to keep them off the barrel. His curveball was well above average in this regard, and his slider was always slightly below, but both had impressive horizontal breaks, so it didn't matter as much. Both elicited swing and misses with their shape. Now, with a diminished vertical drop, they're getting crushed and at an optimal angle, as represented by the launch angle sweet spot percent, in a way they hadn't ever been before. Guys are just more easily able to read their movement. The same is also true of his fastball, which has gotten absolutely pummeled this year to the tune of a 301 average against and 566 slug. And as you can see here, it too has lost a decent amount of its vertical action, which he had always been among the league leaders in years past, but is now half of what it was in 2023 at this point. I think this vertical affectation is also the culprit for his higher walk rate and lower strikeout. Guys just aren't being fooled like they once were in strikeout counts because the pitches aren't as sharp. Now, is there anything he can do to change this and get back on track? Well, first of all, the guy's a modern legend as it stands. It's totally possible after this season he's just going to choose to hang them up and celebrate one of the best careers of our modern era, and not really worry about tinkering anymore. And I think that'd totally be fine, obviously. But if he did want to attempt another career renaissance, I think the thing he would have to do now, more than anything, would be to either try to do something to get back this vertical drop on his pitches, or stop pitching like a power guy. By going after hitters in the way he always has, he's getting hit like he never has, because before, the pure stuff would overwhelm them, whereas now they're actually getting to it. As such, I think a transition into more of a finesse guy, with possibly a higher percent of his overall pitch mix being comprised of a fastball changeup profile, could be helpful in this regard. But regardless, none of this will change how dominant he's been over the course of his 20-year career, one that will easily end in a first ballot Hall of Fame induction, even if the final chapter ends up being one of the sadder ones you'll see from a performance perspective. Now, thank you so much for watching, and please remember that if you ever see anything you'd like to see detailed in the Made the Cut video, whether that be a specific play, player, or narrative surrounding a team or something, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I do end up using your idea, I'll of course give you a shout out. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in the next one.